Oh hi, I didn't see you there. I'm Philbert D, and I'm not shooting alone this week. This is Phil on Films. This week, we're talking about Mia and Richard Jewell. Mia, played by Colleen Garcia, lost her fiancé in an accident. Since then, she's been getting blackout drunk most nights and only keeps the company of a bromeliad that her fiancé gifted her. But on one of these blackout nights, she meets Jay, played by Edgar Allan Guzman. The eccentric Jay becomes involved in her life and he forces her to confront her habits. The film opens with the death of the fiancé. The staging is a little weird. I don't know if this was intended or not, but it plays out kind of like a comedic beat. This weird little bit of slapstick amid a sequence that entails a pretty grisly death. This oddness reverberates throughout the movie. Whenever the death of her fiancé is brought out, it's played as a tragic bit of business. But the image of his death remains this weird thing that comes straight out of a Three Stooges movie. It's incongruous, to say the least. The treatment of the central relationship is pretty odd as well. The film keeps highlighting the incompatibility inherent between Mia and Jay. They spend most of their time together in the movie just rejecting each other. They take turns giving each other the silent treatment or saying things that they shouldn't be able to take back so easily. Now, conflict is welcome, of course, but it sometimes feels like the entire relationship is founded only on conflict. The little bits of kindness that do emerge between them seem to be born more out of obligation than any real chemistry between the two. The most interesting thing about this movie is that it's got a lot on its mind. There are significant stretches of this film that are dedicated solely to discourse about climate change and the changing face of Palawan amid this growing crisis. Now, I think it's admirable that there's a rom-com out there that's willing to sneak in some discussion about climate change within this commercial framework, but it doesn't manage to really integrate it well into its narrative. Now, there are some really intriguing points made about the approach one needs to take within a capitalist system to address climate change, but it all comes in these awkward detours that double as lectures. I think there's definitely value inherent in what the film seems to be trying to do, but I feel like it neglects the more basic parts of the story. 2 stars.
Let's get a new tape going. All right, Richard, here's what we're gonna do.
We need a voice exemplar.
I want you to say into this phone, there's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
The film is based on the true story of Richard Jewell, played here by Paul Walter Hauser. During the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, Jewell was a security guard who stumbled onto a bag filled with pipe bombs. Thanks to him, the damage done was minimized, and he becomes a hero overnight. But the FBI soon starts investigating him as a suspect, and when the media gets wind of this fact, Jewell just as quickly becomes a pariah, suffering through the court of public opinion. The point that the film is trying to make would be easier to swallow if it didn't commit the very same sins that it's supposedly railing against. The film makes the case that Richard Jewell was just a guy trying to do his job the best he could, who was made to be a suspect because he fit a profile. He had a certain background, and this led people to make unfair assumptions about him based on little more than prejudice. The media dragged him through the mud, making him out to be some sort of loser, wannabe warrior, looking to be in the spotlight. But this is exactly what it does with the character of Kathy Scruggs, the reporter who first broke the story that Jewell was now the prime suspect of the FBI. Like Jewell, she was just a professional doing her best to do her job. The film makes her out to be some sort of cackling shrew who is willing to offer sexual favors in exchange for information. The film basically slanders Scruggs, and unlike Jewell, she doesn't have the opportunity to defend herself. The film's agenda is just patently hypocritical, as it forcefully twists the truth in order to further its narrative. Now, looking at this film outside of its agenda, it's probably Eastwood's best made film technically in a while. He seems more engaged. He puts together bigger scenes than he usually does. He seems less lazy. The entire cast is pretty good, even working with material that I find genuinely troubling. Some of these characters are paper thin, but the actors force some sort of depth out of these lines. But yeah, all of this technical and artistic merit is put forward to further the hypocrisy of the film. And as watchable as it is, I don't think I can fully endorse watching this film. It has its merits, I will admit that. But yeah, at best, I can give it maybe 3 stars. So thanks for joining us. We're still trying to get back to a more regular schedule. Things have been kind of hectic. I'm working on some other projects. But yeah, we're gonna try to get back to it. Until then, just leave a comment, like and subscribe, ask a question, do all the internet things. And until next time, goodbye internet. Go piss in a volcano, Mr. President.